Hello, everyone, and welcome to your first lesson. And today we'll be specifically talking about for the next lessons in a span of the series is C Sharp and specifically C Sharp forums. I am the Burger Storm programmer, and I'm here to show you today what is a C Sharp forum. So first, let's start out by starting up a project. We do file new project. We go down to in your left hand tab, go to C Sharp Visuals and do Windows Forms app, and we're going to make a lesson. Lesson number 1. Oh, apparently we can't do that. Something new. But so now this will come up and you will see a form. So C Sharp Forums is a GUI application for making applications, tools, and even games. You basically can do anything you want with, like, normally you can with like C++, C Sharp. Obviously we're in C Sharp, Python. But it eliminates the GUI aspects of it, and it already provides you the GUI in C Sharp so that you can apply it and then not having to worry about it. You can add stuff to it. This is the main forum. It's based up of the panel and whatnot. So there are properties. Like you can change the name of the forum's name. For instance, we can do lesson 1. And it will change... Well, it changed the variable names, but you can also change it to its actual text right here, and actually make it lesson 1 as well, and that will change that up here. But what we did down there, lesson 1 name, it kind of changed the variable name, so now instead of forum 1, it'll be lesson 1. Next there would be to look at all the GUIs, but we can do that. It would be in a toolbox, but before that there are also the properties, and then you can go down and that's just more categorized, and then these are the list of events that you can add. We will get to these a little later. We're not going to really get into them right now because obviously that's going to be in another lesson. But for right now, we're going to open the toolbox, go to Tools, and go to, oh no, my fault. Sorry, go to View, Toolbox. There you go. And and in Toolbox, it has all of your different GUIs that you can add. For instance, you can just drag and drop a button, and you have a fully functional button. You can add a label, and you could add all different kinds. Checkboxes, a checklist box, so you can always add to that. We'll get to that. And with this lesson, we're just going over the basics, and each lesson we will add a different feature to from the toolbox and incorporate it into a forum and learn how they can work and whatnot. So there's a wide variety of tools that you can handle, but as for today, we should do the basics, and we can set up a button. So a button obviously is you press it and it does something. So we were going to do 2 buttons, and we're going to delete, and we're going to have 2 buttons, right? Button 1 and button 2. Well, what would be easier, you can just right click, copy, and paste. And with that, you have 2 buttons. So in here, you can go to your properties menu, and you can go to the text of your button and turn on, make it on, and a button for off. So now we have the 2 buttons. So if we have just them and we run the system with start, we have 2 buttons. and they don't really do anything, but you can click them, and what you have to do now is use them. So what we can do now is we click on one, right? It will open up and it will say button. It'll make an automatic function called whatever your name of your variable, click. So when you click it, it'll do something. So what we can do is we can go and put in a label, and what we can do is, let's make that label Dragons Rock. Right, so we have a label right here, and we're going to have an on and off button. So we can click this too, so we have both one click and one off. So what we can do is when we come into the programming section, we can do, when this is button on is clicked, I believe it's called label 1 dot visible equals false. Oops. Not flow layout settings. And label 1 equals, well, this would be false, my bad, and this would be true because this would be the on button. And we would do true. Label 1 dot visible. So with that, now both visible and true, but what we have to do first is, by default, we would want to set it off, the visible, to false when we load up the application. This public lesson 1 is what's called a default constructor, and it will be run right as the program is being initialized. And it will run the initialized components, make all of the GUIs appear, and anything that variables that you have inside will that you will need to be set will be set, your local, your global, and so on and so forth. So with this, we have buttons. And now if we save the design and we run our system, the text is not there anymore. So if we hit the on button, whoa, Dragon Rock appears. If we hit the off button, it disappears. The label is still there, but in the same position. We are just going in and clicking the button on and off, turning it on and turning it off. With buttons, we can do so much more. So, for instance, we could always add something else. We could always add a so with buttons, you can do a variety. You can add start processes, end processes. You can you could start programs with it. You can open up new forums. You can access sub forums. And with this, the first lesson, I believe, for just buttons is complete. And with that, we're going to expand off of the buttons and add more stuff. With that, the labels are the same way. Labels are just used to label the buttons next to it, label different kind of tools just to show and add it more detail. With that, lesson 1 I think is complete, and hopefully you guys can understand what's going on. And in the next one, I will the next lesson or episode, I will explain more on how they grab it, and we'll add a little more flair to the forum, and we'll go from there. And also too, I believe I'm going to try to do every 10th video, we're going to do a project on what we've learned. So with that, after we've learned that, we can then make a project. It may not be something that we've talked on, but it could be something that you've always wanted to do. I have a couple projects that are pretty beginners that we're going to start out with, then we're going to go to intermediate, and then we're going to have a project that's advanced that's going to have multiple different parts, and then by the end of those parts, we're going to have one cool fully fledged game in C# forms. And then with that, we should be you guys should be ready to go, but that's going to be a long time from then. But I appreciate your time. If you guys can like, comment, subscribe, and I will be back for more videos. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, and have a great day guys, and I hope you enjoy.